Hello, everyone. My name is Quinn. This is my YouTube channel. You can find me on Twitter at Orthodox1993. You can also find me on the MMA.tips/QPesh666. I'm joined by Marathon MMA. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you, man?
Good, brother. You want to talk about your packages and stuff real quick?
Yeah, so we're running the yearly for 300 right now, the monthly for 60, and we're up 24 units in the last four events, and I've swept in six different companies. So it's all good right now.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, he's a great capper. Buy his packages. I'm also joined by Ozzy. He's been around the scene for a while. You can find him on Twitter at Ozzy MMA. I have a lot of respect for this guy. He's a very, very good capper. So I'm stoked to have him on. How you doing, Ozzy? Oh, is he on mute? Okay, that's fine. All right, we're just gonna jump into this here. We're gonna break down UFC 264 from a betting perspective here. So the first fight we got Alan Amedovski versus Hugh Yazong. I'll start. Not too many thoughts here. I think Amedovski's pretty much a trash can. He's not really UFC level at all. He fought Jocko and pretty much got grapple fucked for 3 rounds. He hit one semi-nice reversal in the first round on Jocko, but wasn't really able to do anything with it. The guy's a stationary power puncher. He'll walk forward. He's gonna throw bombs. Not much head movement, not much process behind his striking, really at all. And who, he's a China guy. China is 2-12 this year. It seems like a lot of people have a lot of faith in this dude. Personally, I'm not willing to back a 3-2 fighter at a plus 105 odds. There's just not enough tape on this guy for me to put my money down on him. From what I did see, he might have a slight advantage on volume for minute winning, but really, it's such a small sample size that it's really, really hard to get a good read on it. So the whole fight's pretty much just a pass for me. Marathon, what do you think?
Yeah, you kind of touched base on what little they have to offer. It's a terrible fight. It's not UFC level fight. I didn't really tape much, so definitely passing on it. I see a lot of people on the China man, and I just don't get how you could do it. Besides maybe the fact that he's gonna be a lot bigger than Amedovski, but outside of that, it's just a pass for me, man.
Yeah, Amedovski, he's like a blown up welterweight pretty much. I don't know. I don't really think he has much of a either guy really has much of a future in the UFC, in my opinion. I don't even know if this fight would get on a an LFA headliner. You know what I mean? It's pretty much a dumpster fire. Not sure where Ozzy is, so we'll just move on with the next fight. Um, Next fight, another kind of dumpster fire fight. We got. I'm just gonna call him ZZ because I'm going to completely butcher his name. Versus Jerome Rivera. Yeah, I like ZZ in this spot. I have no bet here. I'm not really willing to lay the minus 300 on him here. Um, but I do think he has an advantage standing. I do like his leg kicks. I like his movement. I like his striking. Um, his boxing combinations are solid. He got Paiva and Albizi for his first two matchups. And I rate Paiva pretty damn highly. And you could have definitely given that fight to Zaligas. Jerome Rivera, he came off the Contender Series. I'm not high on him at all. I think he's probably one of the worst fighters to come off of the Contender Series. He's fought all the way up at 145 and got knocked out pretty bad. And then he's dropping down to 125 here, which I really think is his weight class. But yeah, I think ZZ pretty much has him covered everywhere here. Jerome, he's tall and lanky for the division. He's got 6 inches of reach here, but he doesn't really use his length very well at all. He throws a lot of kicks. He's not defensively sound. He doesn't move his head off of the center line. When he's throwing, he drops his hand when he throws kicks, so he's susceptible to the overhands. He pretty much has essentially no grappling here, in my opinion. He's part of the 70 IQ tribe, in my opinion. He'll hurt some guy and then he'll shoot a double and try and grapple, but he's not really responsible on the mat. He loses position. He gives his back up when he's trying to get up. Rodriguez almost finished him twice on the mat with a rear naked choke. I thought that was an awful decision. I thought Rodriguez clearly out-grappled and outstruck him. And then, he fought Nam, and that's just pretty bad matchup for him. Nam's going to be walking forward, throwing bombs, getting in his face. And, Jerome, he needs his length in order to throw his kicks and for his movement. And I just don't really think he is good at it. He kind of reminds me of just like a flyweight Struve. So yeah, no play for me here. I really don't think that Jerome is UFC level, and I think that Zaligas can hit takedowns here. He has a pretty decent body lock takedown, and Rodriguez was able to hit him with that a couple of times in their fights. So I do think that Zaligas can win on the feet, and I also think he can just grind him out on the mat here. So the pick is Zaligas, but really no bet for me. What do you got, Marathon? Are you muted? No, you're not muted. Unmute. There you go. I can't hear you at all. Are you there? Do you want us to exit out and come back in? Ozzy, are you here?
Quinn, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's up, man?
Hey, there we go. Now I'm in. I was trying to
Awesome.
get it on my laptop, but I had to use my cell phone instead. But what's good? Yeah,
All
I think
right,
I saw
cool.
you guys went through the first maybe 2 fights, but yeah.
We're on ZZ versus Jerome Rivera. If you want to give your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So I mean, Jerome Rivera obviously, has not had too much success in the UFC so far. The Contender Series fight that he had, he arguably lost. I didn't know how he won that decision. I thought it was the wrong scorecard that was read there.
Agreed.
The guy's just super green. I don't think he's high level in any facet of MMA. His strength and conditioning, he just like flops around at 125. I just think he's kind of weak, and you saw in that last fight against Ode, as soon as Ode even touched him, he was feeling those shots right away. Double Z, as I'll call him, because I can't pronounce his name. I just think he's wrestling wise and his ability to mix it up, he's far superior, and he's going to be able to easily either take this guy down or just like rough him up, between going from outside to in the clinch and, win a decision or maybe wear him out. And, but I don't think he'll finish. I don't think he'll probably find a finish though. Because this guy Rivera is like
100%.
very squirmy. He'll avoid the big shot or the submission and all that stuff,
Yep.
That's how I see 100%. The fight. So, yeah.
Marathon, are you here?
Yep, you hear me?
All right, hit it, man.
All right. So I haven't made an official play on this, but I am probably going to sprinkle it a little bit. Probably not tracked, but Rivera by decision plus 600. 6 years younger, 7-inch reach advantage, job on the line. I actually don't think Zalgas should shoot in this fight. I think he has the striking pretty much covered. And plus, Rivera just looks really timid in there. It's kind of hard to be on a guy that doesn't really believe he belongs in there, and I feel like that's the big problem with him. But the line's wide for Zalgas just because if you go watch all his last fights, just even on the regional scene and his UFC fights, all his fights play out close. He doesn't run away with the fight. They're going to be real tight, and I just think the line's wide. I've seen a lot of people say this line's wide, so I think this is going to decision, so would you rather be on the minus 115 Zalgas side or maybe plus 600 Rivera, maybe get a 1-1 going into the third? So, a half unit, some beer money, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't hate the plus 600 stab going decision. I do worry that I don't like the way Jerome reacts to shots at all. So I could definitely Zaligas popping him in the pocket, but we'll see how that goes.
This hasn't looked competitive against any of the guys that he's fought, I feel. So
yeah, 100%. All right, we'll move on. I got a bet on this fight here. We got Omari Akhmedov versus Brad Tavares. I got 2 units in on Tavares. I believe I got him at -160 or -155. I'd have to go back and check. But yeah, I pretty much think he has Omari covered everywhere here. Like looking at his last fight versus AJ, ACJ, he's landed north of, I want to say it was 37 takedowns total in the UFC, and he only landed 1 out of 12 versus Tavares there, and it wasn't even really a takedown that he landed. It was like more of a scramble, and he like kind of shoved him and then got on top of Tavares. I wouldn't even really consider that a takedown, but they countered it. Tavares, his takedown defense looked good. It's pretty much elite. At the weight class, it's north of 80%. And even when he does get taken down, he doesn't get held down on the mat. He's very scrambly. He has good get-ups. I think he's strong in the clinch. I think he has Omari pretty much covered everywhere here in the striking department. I know Omari has been making improvements, and I think moving up to the weight class that he's at now definitely suits him for sure. But I love Brad's striking combinations. I love his leg kicks. He looked really, really good in his last fight. And, as we all know about Omari, he's a notorious gasser. He's got about 7.5 minutes in the tank, and then his entire game falls apart. So, I definitely think you could look at playing Tavares round 3 here. Omari pretty much always falls off a cliff at the 7.5 minute mark. But like I said, I do think the new weight class kind of helps him here. But Brad, he's been fighting top level competition for like a long time. Adesanya, Shabazi, and ACJ, Christoph Jocko. It's not too long ago that Omari was fighting guys like Zach Cummings and Tim Boche. Like those dudes have never been ranked.
How do you feel though that they match up though in the striking? Because Carlos Jr. he's not as comfortable if he can't get a takedown. But Omari, he's like, I get a takedown. We just throw big shots on the feet. Like, don't you think it'll be a potentially close fight? And like going back to just Omari being plus money here. Tavares coming off that layoff, and he had that Carlos Jr. matchup. It was a weird fight. Like there was a lot of line movement in that fight. And he ended up neutralizing him. But he just doesn't win fights clearly, don't you think? Like against a guy like Omari, who he's throwing power shots and he's going rabies in there. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely gonna have really good moments in the fight.
No, I agree. He's definitely gonna have good moments in the fights. That's for sure. And he's definitely live to win striking because he's gonna walk down Brad down. He's gonna exchange, but he's notoriously just such low volume, and I really don't like betting on fighters who gas, and he's a notorious gasser. Like I could totally see Tavares taking over late and winning a pretty high clip here. I kind of personally think that Tavares is north of 70% here. I got him at around 60% implied. But if you like the dog, take a stab at it. I just know you're gonna be sweating that third round, man. That's for sure.
For sure.
Ozzy, it's you. Take it away. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I was gonna leave it to Marathon, but looking at the fight, I liked Omari in his last fight against Tom Breeze, and I think he's always a good guy to have. He's really tough to finish. Even though he does gas, like he really fights through a lot of those positions. And Tavares just for me doesn't staple rounds as well. But I think it's a close fight. I'm not, I haven't made a bet either way. I feel the type of fighter. Sometimes the fighter that people feel Brad Tavares is I understand it because I think he has a lot of good attributes for the weight class, and like if he was basically higher volume, he could, he could do really well in this weight class. But I feel like even with him, he doesn't put out as much offense as people think. And, I think potentially in this fight, Omari's aggression and, he kind of mixes up his game well enough, much better than like Antonio Carlos Jr. And, I think that's what has plagued Brad in the past. Like whenever he cannot lead a fight and lead the situations going into it, I think he kind of could struggle. And I think Omari's going to be on the offense most of the time. So the fight is going to be on Omari's script more, I think. And if he can pace himself, he should be able to, I think, get a lead and protect it. Hopefully.
Cool. Marathon, what about you?
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on something real quick. This is a great live bet spot if you like Tavares because he's probably going to lose the first round. And you might get plus money on Tavares, start of round 2. So I just want to touch on that. No official bet for me here, but round 3 or decision is plus 100 on FanDuel. For those who do have access to that book, that's his 2 win outcomes. Those are his biggest paths to victory there. Omari is not so much. I don't think Ozzy touched on the pace. I feel like he puts on too much of a pace early on, and he's not much. I wouldn't say he's much of a gasser. I'd say he isn't smart with how he uses his tank. He's going to go hard in that first round. He's probably going to win that round, but I got Tavares winning round 3 90% of the time. I mean, Tavares is a cardio machine.
Yeah, that's good.
Elite takedown defense, like elite. That was a world-class showing on takedown defense against Shoeface. 5 of his last 7 have went to decision. I mean, we know he's a decision machine. You're not going to finish him. I mean, Edmund did, but Edmund was kind of finishing everyone. So
yeah, and he had injuries, and he had that long layoff. Like, what was it? Over 2-year layoff, like going into that Edmund fight. Like that could definitely have played a factor into that. Yeah.
So yeah, round 3 decision plus 100 at FanDuel. Great live bet spot. Start around 2, and I wouldn't even hate throwing some lunch money on the draw. I mean, Amari's live to come out here and look really good early. I mean, we saw at the Weidman fight, and then he just fell off a cliff. So I'll say round 3 decision. Live bet for a better price, definitely, and then maybe a little draw sprinkle on the draw.
Man, you could sprinkle round 3 finish plus 1,400. That's not bad at all for Tavares.
I just don't see him giving up, round 3 late, even if he is gassed. Like Ozzy said, he gets himself out of those bad situations. The cardio is definitely a problem, but I definitely like him more by decision here. I think it's more likely because Omari's a tough dude. If I were Omari, I'd probably cut a little bit of muscle off. I think he's just a little bit too muscular. I mean, it's not like the dude's clearly in shape, man. It's just too much of a pace. He's asking his body, too much, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Okay. We move on. We got a flatweight matchup with Jennifer Maia taking on Jessica Eye. Ozzy, you want to start this one off?
Sure. So 125 women's fight. I try my hardest to never justify betting a women's MMA favorite. So that leads me to look at Jessica Eye more so than Jennifer Maia. I mean, I think how they match up. Jessica Eye, she's gritty. I feel like she doesn't really fight with a game plan. She just goes out there. She tries to strike. If it's working well, she'll let it she'll keep doing it. If it's maybe not working, she'll try to go for takedowns or go to the clinch or do something like that. But it's not all very well planned out. And I feel Jennifer Maia on the counter is her jiu-jitsu game. She showed it only. You saw it in the Valentina fight, I guess, for sure. But you saw it offensively versus Joanne, and I just think Jennifer Maia is pretty skilled overall. Bounce back fight off of the title fight loss where she had some hope and stuff. But I would not bet her minus 185 here in a fight that could be 1-1 going into the third round, and I can't really cap her at being that much of a favorite if they've been fighting tooth and nail to that point. And Jessica Eye is just always in close fights. Like I don't think she's particularly that skilled. She doesn't have really good punches at range. Doesn't have great timing. I just see a very generic fighter when I watch Jessica Eye fight, And so yeah, so I'm not very interested in her at a dog price. The only redeeming thing at a dog price I would say is that that she has pretty good cardio, and she's really tough. Like, and she wants to win for sure. So she's not a girl that's going to avoid putting her fighting in the pocket and actually doing stuff. She's not that much of a flake, but I can't trust her at any price under 200. So pass.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, I like I here. I'm not backing her ML. I'm actually looking at her wins by decision at plus 250. The lines are kind of weird. My by decision is plus 110, and I by decision is plus 250. There's not going to be much grappling in this fight. It's gonna be mainly a stand up fight. And like for women's flyweight, I has pretty decent optics. She'll, like you said, she'll march forward. She'll throw bombs. She'll throw a lot of volume. She'll be aggressive, and that all looks good to judges. And like you said, she's always in close fights. And Maya, she's pretty low volume. She doesn't really wow me anywhere really. And yeah, I just don't really understand why she's such a big favorite here, because she took a round off Valentina. Okay, like, big deal. That's still not justifying why the line is the way it is. I don't really think you want to hold in a minus 200 ticket on Maya. If this is 1-1 going into the third, you're going to sweat that a lot. So I do think that there is definitely value on I here by decision at plus 250. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a stab on that. But other than that, I don't know. I'm not really bullish on betting women's MMA this year. I've had not the greatest luck on it. So, but I'll probably take a little stab on the I decision line. Marathon, what about you?
Yeah, I won't get too deep in on this one just because the line is just ridiculous. And like Ozzy said, 125 flyweight is just not a good look to be holding minus 200 tickets. I do think Maya probably wins, but the motivation factor on both sides is a big question for me. I hasn't the dog hasn't been in her like it usually is her last few fights, and Maya just lost a title fight. I don't like really what's her motivation getting up every morning now, after losing that fight. I don't want to be holding a minus 200 ticket on her. But her grappling edge, I mean, she's going to have it, but I don't even know if she uses it. So I'm not going to.
Yeah, she's landed 2 takedowns in 6 UFC fights.
And like you said, it's skewed because of the Valentina fight, but you're going to go in there and try to take down Valentina. You don't want to be striking with her. I don't think Maya's going to be as desperate to get eyed to the ground as she was Valentina. And I mean, I should be competitive in the boxing exchanges. Maya does have a nasty overhand right, which no one talks about. Her looping, Brazilian, whatever you want to call it, bruiser hook she throws, those things crack, man. But she's there's really no side here for me. It's just a complete stay away.
Cool. Okay. We move on. It's a fun one. We got Trevin Giles versus Dricus du Plessis. I'll start here. Yeah, I butcher all of these names. I'll start here. I actually
got that one.
Oh, good. I like Driscus here a little bit. I don't have a play on it. I was kind of maybe looking at goes a distance a little bit. I think he's the better technical kickboxer. I think he's the better minute winner here. He got his UFC jitters out of the way against Perez, and I think he's going to have a little bit of a better showing here. Giles, I'm not a fan of Giles at all. I can't trust him to stick to any sort of game plan. Notoriously low volume. He's also part of the 70 IQ tribe. He'll hurt you on the feet and then take you down and try and grapple you from top position. He's done that multiple times, and I can't back a fighter who just doesn't have like very good fight IQ. He's got that straight that straight right that is pretty deadly that he could hurt Driscus with. But Driscus has pretty decent defense in my opinion. I know he got hit a lot by Marcus, but Perez, he was walking him down, and he had that bullish style that Perez really has never used. So I don't really think that Driscus was really expecting him to come in like that. We kind of all know what Trevin Giles' game is. But yeah, I don't really have a play on it here just yet. I got to look into it a little bit more. But the pick for me right now is Driscus. Ozzy, what do you think?
I agree. So this is a fight that I was looking at. So I usually look at fights first, and you always have kind of something like you're leaning on, and then I kind of like do a retake later in the week. This is a fight I was looking at again today, and looking at Duplessis, is how I'm going to pronounce it. His last fight against Marcus Perez, which is a fight where I really like Marcus Perez, and I thought that if the fight went long, Perez would win it. I was actually impressed at more so how Duplessis approached the fight, how he kind of avoided and went with Perez's pressure, and I think in this fight he matches up pretty well with Giles, who, like you said, he has some good skills. When he first came in, he just annihilated Braga Neto. I was like, damn, this dude's freaking legit. But then he was taking time off. He was doing the police stuff. And so he has really good boxing. He's, I guess, comfortable enough on the ground. He'll go to the ground and do stuff there. But his best attribute is his boxing. He got really good lead right cross, and he'll throw some good hooks behind it, and he's pretty quick. But I think Duplessis is going to be able to get his leg kicks going. If you look at that Marcus Perez fight, you look at his 2 fights against that dude Roberto Juice Monkey Cyborg, whatever his name is, the guy he fought twice in KSW. That was two great fights. But he uses leg kicks really, really well against that guy as well. And he knows how to shell up. He doesn't get hit with too many strikes coming back at him. So I think Trevor Giles, he's just so low volume that I just don't see him. I see ways that this fight could go where it's low volume and Duplessis is just like kicking them and scoring points. And then if Giles is throwing, he throws his straight right, and I think Duplessis is gonna be able to block, blitz in when he wants, land leg kicks, and if he wants, he can look to grapple or clinch. And I think he's probably better than Giles there as well, because we saw Roman, as soon as Roman touched Giles went down. It was Roman going for heel hooks and stuff like that lost him that fight. So, but what do you think, Marathon? Are you? Is this 3 for 3? Are we on the circle jerk or what? What's up?
Nah, we're not 3 for 3, man.
Oh man.
Just because I don't trust Duplessis, the sample size is not there. The Giles does have more experience.
He's got a lot of fights.
Yeah, he does.
Does have a lot of fights.
I just feel like Giles should win minutes here.
He's got some championship. Those guys. I don't know. Unless USADA's catching up to my boy Duplessis, I think this is a good spot for him. I really do. I think that the competition that he's fought has been decent. And Giles, that he won that fight against Roman. Like Roman, not a threat at all with his hands. He won against Bevon Lewis. Bevon Lewis is not a real fighter, and he like no threat at all. And I just think he brings some stuff in here that, even though Giles has fought pretty good competition, is going to be a different kind of, like this guy's never went to decision. He's all his wins are by finish. Like this guy's dangerous. Like he's not James Krause, where James Krause is giving up positions that Giles gives up. Like, if this guy lands in mount or back mount like Roman did, I think he's going to finish Giles, and Giles is going to be like, whoa, like this guy's big, he's strong, and he's trying to murder me in here. So that's how I think it's going to play out.
Yeah, I don't really have a great read to even really argue either of your points, just because I do think Giles should win minutes. I think his jab's underrated. I think he's got a pretty good jab. The box, I think he's the better boxer. I think we kind of kick Giles down, and just because the fight IQ is so shit. But I don't want to be holding the Giles ticket either. I mean, we're talking about a guy who could have you hurt, shoot a takedown, and Duplessis has a mean guillotine.
Yep, and Giles has been guillotined twice by fucking Zach Cummings.
Giles doesn't check leg kicks. That's another thing we need to touch on. Duplessis is going to probably pump them out early on, first round. But I'm not really a big believer in Duplessis. I feel like it's a step down in competition for Giles and a step up for Duplessis, but I'm sure neither of you would agree with that. But yeah, I think it's just a. I think it's just a. I think it's just a stay away. I do think Giles is more polished, probably a better boxer. And I don't trust that Duplessis even has the grappling advantage here, honestly.
Okay, cool. We move on. This is one of my most anticipated fights on the card. We got Ryan Hall versus Ila Topuria. Ozzy, you're the jiu-jitsu expert, so I will start with you on this.
I mean, really interesting fight. Just with where who people think Topuria is going to be. A lot of people see him as a future title contender. Even within the next year or two. Even Ryan Hall's like, yeah, I think this guy is someone who should be top 10, top 15 already. Topuria really impressed me in that last fight against Damon Jackson, where he just walked that dude down and just the power on the shots that he was throwing and the accuracy on them and the commitment was pretty impressive. But I was talking to one of the other guys who loves Topuria. All these Spanish cappers, dude. It's crazy. They're all over the place. So obviously they like Topuria, but the thing with him is, and that fight against Damon Jackson, that was in the smaller cage. And Ryan Hall, if you see that fight against Zalal, Topuria is coming out of his shoes to throw some of these hooks at him, and Zalal is just leaving him behind. So Ryan Hall's going to come with that bladed southpaw stance. Topuria is going to run at him, and he's going to try to engage a lot. But I think the fight for a while is going to be like any Ryan Hall fight. He's going to be spinning around, doing b-boy stuff, and trying to catch this guy. And I think at a certain point, Topuria is going to go to the ground with him. And I think Topuria is not a big guy. He used to fight at 135. He's Georgian, but he's really from Spain. I feel like his body looks Spanish, so I feel like he's not that big of a guy. And I think Ryan Hall grabs him and starts spinning and stuff and locks his hands around him, especially if you know what I mean. He's gonna be able to get to some advantageous ground positioning. I'm not saying he's gonna finish him easily, but just because Topuria is like a black belt in jiu-jitsu and his brother's a black belt and they train at MMA Masters and all this stuff, I don't really think he's ready for some of the no-gi stuff that Hall has going. So I kind of like Ryan Hall. I like the lines coming down. You need to bet this. It needs to be over plus 200 for sure to bet it. People will say, hey, just bet him by submission, but I'm not on that. Like I try to focus more on money line stuff. So I'll probably take a small bet on Ryan Hall, like maybe like a quarter unit. Because I just think he's going to bring a style that Topuria is going to get frustrated with, and I think probably get in trouble at some point. But if not, he's I think he's ready for the punches that Topuria is going to come with. Like if anything, he's just going to lay down on the ground. So I don't think he's in the Topuria's going to finish.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of agree. Like, I think it all just depends on like what Topuria is gonna do. Like with Ryan Hall, is like when Hall flops to his back, is Topuria gonna engage with him? Is he gonna land ground and pound? Is kind of like what Saul Rogers had success with? Like does he feel that confident in his jiu-jitsu that he can stay on top of him and ride him out on top? I mean, if you know Ryan Hall, I've been watching his jiu-jitsu videos for years. And the dude is an absolute wizard on the mat. He's got one of the best back takes I've ever seen. One of the best leg lock games I've ever seen. Like, him locking BJ Penn, man, like that was just so quick. I don't know if you watch his Ultimate Fighter fights, like he, before he hit Saul Rogers, he breezed through those dudes like cut through them like butter. It was absolutely like nothing. I do think he's kind of fragile on the feet. I do think that Topuria definitely has the advantage there. He's going to walk him down. He's going to try and throw body shots, go to the head. It all just kind of depends. Like, can Topuria cut off the cage? Is he going to be able to land on Ryan? Like, or is Ryan just going to flop to his back every single time? It's kind of hard for me to see Ryan winning a decision if he's just going to flop his back and let Topuria just kick his legs. Because like if Ryan's doing that, that's what Topuria should be doing: kicking his legs, standing him up, walking him down, repeating. I don't have enough faith in Topuria to be defensively responsible on the mat, like to mind his P's and Q's. But I also don't really know what is Hall's game plan going to be? What is he going to come in with? I think that you could take a small stab on Topuria. I mean, not Topuria. I'm sorry. Hall sub at plus 510. Topuria is not finishing this dude on the mat. There's no way. I think you could take a small stab on Topuria KO. It just all depends on what he's going to do. I like the props here. I think you could maybe see the game plan that Topuria is going to come in with and potentially look for a live bet. But yeah, I don't really have a play right now. But I guess I would say I lean Topuria, but I'm not at all confident in it. What do you think, Marathon?
Yeah, I'm all over Topuria here. I got a couple units on his by KO or decision, minus 170. I think that's obviously the way to bet him.
Yeah.
And then I do have him in a parlay with O'Malley, which I got down at minus 150, I believe. I think this fight all comes down to Topuria's approach.
Yeah, I agree.
It's as hard. This fight will be as hard as he makes it. I was getting Jamal Hill vibes from him at the press at the media day. He was saying he's willing to start in Hall's guard and that he'd be just fine down there. And I had a lot of money on Jamal Hill, and that kind of talk just worries me. But I like how Topuria goes to the body. I love seeing guys his age who just started with the body. And he's gonna light him up on the feet. He's gonna be able to close the distance on him. And like you said, anytime he does probably connect, he's gonna be flopping around. That doesn't look good to the judges. So I think Topuria should have him covered here. He has the Greco background. Hall's not gonna be able to land anything on him. And he's got a black belt in jiu-jitsu in his back pocket that no one's really talking about. He's not from Brazil. It's not like here's your diploma and your black belt when you turn 16. He's a legit black belt. So, yeah, I think that he should have him covered here. If you're gonna play Hall, he probably needs a random leg lock or something. Maybe grab a limb, and then if Topuria wants to be dumb and go down there, then he can get something snapped and he'll be out of here. You know what I mean? That's completely gonna stunt all his hype, so just work him on the feet. If he wants to flop around, let him. The judges don't like that shit.
Flop around, kick his legs, fucking legs. Make him pay.
If he wants to flop around, man, the judges are just going to be like, cool, quick 30-27, and we get the money. So, yeah, I'm not very high on Ryan Hall. I know he's a wizard on the mat, and I want no part of it down there. I really don't. I think Topuria would be dumb to go down into his guard, but let's just hope he's not, that ignorant to go and do that.
Yep, we'll see. It's one of my most anticipated fights in the card. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I'm excited to see where both fighters go. I'm a really big fan of Topuria. I'm a really big fan of Hall. I'm excited that Hall's getting back in there and he's actually going to hopefully start getting fights. So many people avoid him for obvious reasons, but I do agree with what he was saying.
One of them should be a top 15 after this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. I think they both have the
close
potential. Yeah. All right, so we move on. We've got Michelle Pereira versus Nico Price. Marathon, I'll start with you.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun fight. I don't really have anything on it, but I do think Nico Price is probably the side. The dude's as tough as they come, and I do think that as far as Pereira goes, that there is going to be a time to fade him. I just don't know if it's here. But there will be a time where we're going to fade him. But Nico Price is probably going to be the fresher guy. I don't really trust Pereira as much as I trust Price. Price has been in some wars, and he's made a good account of himself even in his losses. And I can't really say the same thing for Pereira. So I don't really want any part of it. If I'm going to bet Nico, I think the best way to approach this fight is probably fight doesn't go to decision. I don't really know what the number's at. I'm sure it's probably in minus 180 range, somewhere up there, if I had to guess. But someone's probably getting finished here.
Minus 182. Yeah.
Yeah, so someone's probably getting finished here. I think that's probably the best way to play it. I don't know how anyone could really say confidently. It's going to come down to who lands and who, someone's going to get rocked in this fight and probably get finished. I don't really know how you can pinpoint, who that's going to be. So maybe you guys have a better read on this than me, but I just think someone's getting finished, man.
Yeah, I actually have the over 1.5 in a parlay with Griffin. I did not like the way Nico looked his last fight. Very slow, very plodding, very telegraphed strikes. He couldn't even get Cowboy out of there. He fought him to a draw. He's been in some fucking wars throughout his career. And he's essentially, in my opinion, he's been notoriously like finish or bust. And almost all of his fights haven't gone the distance, but with Michel Pereira's style, like he's gone away from being chaotic and crazy. He's being a lot more telegraphed. And especially last fight, like very, very low volume. I think his new style kind of limits volume. And I do think that he has a pretty interesting advantage on the mat here. I think he can land takedowns on Price here. And, as long as he's not getting hammer fisted from the bottom, I think he can work him on the mat here and control him. So, all I need really is for him to survive 7.5 minutes for my over to hit. And I do think that that's going to happen. I do lean Pereira though. I think he's going to win. I like his I just like his game in general. I like how he's evolved from being a crazy fighter to being a lot smarter. He's very calm in the pocket. Chaos Williams has a lot of power. And, he did well, though. He impressed me there. So, yeah, unless Nico comes out like rabies Nico and just connects clean and knocks him out, I think Pereira can mind his P's and Q's on the feet here, mix in his grappling, and either put Nico away later or win a decision. What do you think, Ozzy?
In this fight, I think it's one where you have Pereira, who I watched his last two fights recently, both the Zleem fight and the Chaos Williams fight, where he looked a lot better. Like you said, it looked like a guy who had really good tools. He looks very old, but he's only 27, which is insane. Like he looks like a 36-year-old Brazilian to me. But insane that he has 38 fights at 27, and with whatever all the stuff considered. So I wouldn't want to really lay the juice with him though, just because I know he's durable. He's only been finished one time by knockout, but just weird stuff happens in Nico Price fights. He gets a point deducted. He knocks the guy out from the bottom. He just says weird things, and Pereira, he's insane as well. So I wouldn't want to lay juice in a fight like that. But at the same time, like you said, Price had a hard time putting away Cowboy. That was a war. He got his face busted up as well. Luque whipped his ass right before that. So, the guys took a lot of damage. I feel like one of these guys gets finished, but they both also are really, really tough. So, definitely a pass for me. But I would maybe look at, I don't know what Pereira's decision line is, but if it was very, very high, I would maybe consider that. But otherwise, pass for me.
Pereira decision is plus 275. Not too bad. I don't mind that at all.
I'd say, so.
You say you don't think it's good enough?
I don't think so. I won maybe plus 300. I don't know. I don't play as many props other than maybe over-unders and go to the distance and stuff like that. But maybe a way to approach it, because Nico Price, he's really tough, man. You have to hit him clean and often to get him out of there.
Agreed.
And
okay.
Clean and often, a lot of times it's not, you could do it. It's just, Pereira is not that high volume to keep hitting. If the first finishing sequence doesn't do it, is Pereira going to keep looking for the finish? I don't know.
Yep, I agree, 100%. Okay, we move on. This is a fun one. We got Carlos Condit versus Max Griffin. I'll start here. This ends my parlay. with the over 1.5 on the last fight. I think I got like plus 137 total on it. Yeah, I like Max Griffin a lot here. I think he should be north of like minus 300 here. I think he has a pretty solid path to victory on the mat. Um, he's pretty reliable. He's pretty reliable to hit takedowns here. Condit, he is notoriously awful takedown defense. 39%. That's absolutely atrocious. He doesn't really have much ability to get back to his feet. If going back to the Matt Brown fight, Matt Brown was able to have success controlling him on the mat there, which just really not a good look for me. Max Griffin, he's younger. He's a lot stronger than Brown. And I do think he's going to be able to land his double legs here and grind Condit. Also on the feet, I think it's pretty even. Maybe slightly into Condit based off of his unorthodox style. But man, Griffin, he's got some good striking. He's got good boxing. He'll walk forward. He'll throw volume. He's got good leg kicks, good movement. He's been making a lot of improvements in that area. I know sometimes he can be kind of hard to trust, but I do think that he's been fighting a lot smarter lately. And if he uses his grappling here and just grinds out Condit, I think he pays off his price pretty easily. So I think he rolls here pretty much. Marathon, what do you think?
Yeah, I do have a little bit of a stab on Griffin by decision, plus 160.
Yeah.
I haven't decided really if I want to track it, if I want to play it officially, but he should win minutes here. I don't trust Condit. Condit's, people are acting like he's some revamped version of himself, but he's beat two old heads himself. Like they weren't really good wins. I remember watching Max's last fight and thinking, wow, this dude's finally making some big leaps in his game.
Yep.
And the stand-up looked really legit. And, this is a guy that, could have won a couple of those splits, could have went his way. And we're talking about a whole different story here. And Carlos Condit's been taken down more than any person in UFC history. He'll accept bottom position to throw elbows because he's from that era. You can't do that anymore. You're going to lose a decision. You know what I mean? You had his era where you could punish people from the bottom. That's just, you're not doing that anymore. These guys are way too technical. He should win minutes on the feet too. I don't really see how you could play Condit, which I've seen a lot of people play Condit. But this could be a greasy little decision, 2-1, 29-28 Griffin, but would I be surprised if he goes out there and 30-26 is him? No, I wouldn't. But Condit doesn't go to a decision a lot, so I can hear that argument too. But I think Griffin by decision, like I said, the last fight I watched of him, you saw leaps in his game. They were evident, and you were impressed. Can't say the same thing about Condit.
Agree 100%. Yeah, he's 64% implied right now. I think it should be much higher than that. Ozzy, what do you think?
Yeah, I can see why. I can see why. People like the Griffin side. He definitely looked good in that last fight against Song, and then in the fight against Ramazes, or how you pronounce that. He's pretty aggressive. Condit goes down with the blow of the wind, and he doesn't really make too many efforts to get up. I will say though, I did see him in underground against Ellenberger, and he freaking dived for Ellenberger's legs like as soon as the match started and heel hooked them in like 28 seconds or something like that. So maybe he's been working on some of his ground game there. I mean, Max Griffin's a gorilla though, so it will be probably tough to submit him or put him in disadvantageous positions. And then on the feet, I like Condit on the feet. He's definitely one of my favorite fighters ever. He comes from really interesting angles. Griffin is more of a like meat and potatoes guy. Like he stays in this kind of rigid boxing stance, and he throws off 1-2s and he resets, and then he throws another really hard 1-2 and he resets. So there's not that much creativity to the guy. He's just really tough. It's hard to finish him. I don't know if he's been finished that many times. I'm not looking at his record, but I'd love to see Condit just kick his head straight off, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And Griffin probably, I think they'll probably exchange a little bit. at some point, Condon maybe has his moments, maybe a little bit of blood from one of these guys, but then Griffin starts like just tackling Condon, I feel, and probably wins the decision. But I'm rooting for Condon. If this keeps going up, though, I don't know. I'd probably definitely consider Condon because Max Griffin's just liable to do dumb stuff, man. He just is. Just like 100% fact. And he gets tired. Like, Condon's not going to stop. So, even if Griffin's holding him on the ground, Condon's going to be, like, hitting him, throwing ground and pound, like, if he's against the fence. So I don't know, in the crazy high-paced fight, just what you're getting with Condon there. And Griffin's a tough dude, like I said. But, I just feel like, fight could get hairy very quickly for Max Griffin because a lot of the guys he's been fighting have been, I don't know, like I feel like less dynamic guys that really go for the finish. But we'll see. I definitely think Max Griffin should be the favorite for sure. So.
Cool. All right.
But I'm all for
now
Condon. I'm definitely rooting for Condon.
Cool, man. This is start of the main
Yeah,
card.
We
Fun.
go move on here.
Okay. Start of the main card. Fun ass fight here. We got Sean O'Malley versus Chris. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Chris M. O'Malley's gonna fucking kill this guy. I don't know why they didn't give him Ricky Simone or Merab or someone that is gonna actually test him here. UFC obviously wants to build Sean up and give him this highlight reel knockout. His opponent's been knocked out multiple times in the past. Sean is leaps and bounds. Such a better technical striker than this dude. I am gonna be as soon as I get the props, I'm gonna be playing O'Malley KO at +1 round 1 +115. I'd be pretty surprised if this got out of the first round. Especially with Chris coming in on short notice. And when he gets in the UFC, that's on a different level. This is a sold out crowd. This is a McGregor pay-per-view. Dude's going to have jitters. He's brought in as a sacrifice here. So if you want to get in on some good plus money, O'Malley by KO TKO round 1 +115. What do you think, Ozzy?
I mean, yeah, O'Malley should nuke this guy. I saw his. Coincidentally, I was watching it. I think I watched a few CFFC fights in the last time that this guy fought. So I saw that fight live, and I remember thinking, I'm like, man, I don't really think he was very impressive overall. But he got in there, he was scrapping. But O'Malley, what I think he's trying to do or is going to look to do is to stun this dude and then hit him with some, spinning, jump, something crazy, and he's probably going to succeed because I think O'Malley's timing, like how he's gonna have this guy like flinching and stuff, is just going to be too much, and he's gonna finish him hopefully early. But I mean, I'm definitely there's not a bet that I'm gonna make on this fight. But if you have time, watch that fight against Andrew Salas that he had. It was, it's not a great fight overall, but who knows what'll happen.
What do you think, Marathon?
Yeah, this is a complete mismatch. And you got to take advantage of these mismatches. We've seen them time and time again, and they're usually cash at a high rate. I have a lot of money on O'Malley right now inside the distance. And I'm probably going to keep adding more. I think I have total 6 units on the inside the distance. And
what did you get on his line, inside the distance line?
I believe it was -300, parlayed with Topuria, and then I parlayed the inside the distance again with the fight doesn't go to decision in the main event. Because I just, that's just free money. And honestly, he's going to the reactions he's going to be getting out of this poor kid with the feints and the movement, man, is just going to be it's gonna be sad to watch.
Yep.
They brought this guy up for a reason. He's gonna come downhill with his chin up in the air. He comes to fight. But O'Malley does play with his food a little bit, so I haven't hit the round 1. And plus media day today, he said he was gonna get a round 2 finish, and he's been pretty solid with his I feel like he has the ability to call it how he wants in this fight. So if he wants to play with his food a little bit, get a round 2 finish. I don't think he's content with the TKO ground and pound. I think he wants something bigger than that. Yeah. He wanted it in the Almeida fight. he's gonna go for it here too. So, if I'm holding around one ticket and he drops the dude, and he doesn't want the TKO, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. So, probably just look to play him inside the distance, and you know, this is the perfect spot to load up on a bet because these mismatches you got to take advantage of them, man, because they don't come very often. And I think this is one of the worst ones we've seen in a while, where when it got announced, you were just like, "What the fuck? That's bullshit." You were
Oh, it was
pissed.
huge bullshit.
You were pissed because they're even like Brian Boom Kelleher would have been a better guy. He's probably gonna go out there and beat him, but Boom Keller is we're gonna get some questions answered on O'Malley. We're not gonna get anything answered here, and if he doesn't go out there and put a highlight on this kid, it's a bad look for him. If he would have took the Marab fight and lost, it probably would have been people would have respected him. People would have respected him more than taking this fight, even if he would have lost the Marab fight.
But, I was looking forward to getting Simone at like plus 200. That would have been nice.
Marab's, asking for a fight when he has a contender fight with Moraes. That wasn't going to happen. Unrealistic. Stamen wants the fight, but he wants it at 145. I'm not going to go up and fight a 145er who's a wrestler and give up 10 pounds. And then Simone's probably the most realistic thing that should have happened. A lot of the other callouts were pretty much bullshit for clout, but O'Malley inside the distance should be pretty free here. And if you like a play minus 180, minus 170, throw the O'Malley inside the distance on all those plays, man. Bring it down to minus 120. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't.
What is the under 1.5? Minus 187, minus 170. Some places.
I mean, like, come on, man. You like Griffin, you could throw O'Malley inside the distance with Griffin. You like, minus 200 Tavares and Akhmedov goes a decision at O'Malley to that. I mean, he's just that's a staple parlay piece in my opinion.
Yeah,
so
agree.
That's the moneymaker on this card, I believe. And you're obviously not going to make it betting on it straight, but there is, pieces on this card where you can combine the two, like Tavares, Topuria, a couple goes the decision, the not go to decision on the main event. I think that hits at 80, 90% of the time. So that's what I'm on, man.
All right, cool. Yeah, agreed. All right, we move on. I don't know why this fight's on the main card. Whatever. We have Irene Aldana versus Yana Kutinskaya. I have a play here. I got in on Yana for 1 unit at plus 105. Kind of think this line should be flipped and Yana should be a bigger favorite. If you go and you watch, I don't think Aldana's a bad fighter, but I think she's just really sketchy to bet on as a favorite. She's her striking metrics are absolutely awful. She throws on high volume, but she gets hit much more than she lands, and she's notorious to just give away minutes and rounds to people that will throw more volume than her. If you go back and you watch the Betch Korea fight, Korea was on her way to winning that decision as I believe she was a pretty heavy over plus 200 dog in that fight before she got finished, and I had 3 units on Aldana there, and I was pissed because I thought I was going to lose this fight, and then she ended up finishing her there. But Aldana's pretty notorious for that, and that's just I really don't like betting on fighters that get hit more than they land. And if you look at Yana's numbers, she actually has pretty decent striking numbers. I mean, she's outpaced every single one of her opponents on the feet. I know a lot of that came from elbows and knees in the clinch and on the mat, but that's a pretty good number. I really like that a lot. So I do think the striking is going to be competitive. I think that Yana has a pretty big strength advantage here, and I think she has an advantage in the clinch. I love her head positioning. I love her wrist control up against the clinch. I think she's going to be able to hit a couple of those outside trip takedowns. Aldana, as we've seen, she's notoriously shit off of her back. I don't think she's subbing Yana here at all. I don't know. I don't know why Yana is an underdog here. I think she just has more advantages here. I think she can definitely win minutes in the clinch, win minutes on top. And I think it's going to be competitive at range. So at plus money, I had to take a stab at her. So I got 1 unit on her at plus 105. What do you think, Marathon?
Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. Probably Yana by decision is how I would play it. just because Aldana's probably not getting finished. She's tough, Mexican. Like you said, though, on the feet, Irene's a punching bag, a complete total punching bag. She's got good boxing, but she has no defense. And Yana's not really a hard fighter to cap. I feel like if someone's better at striking than her, she's gonna clinch. She's gonna put you in the clinch. She's gonna win those exchanges, and she's gonna put you on the mat. If you're a better grappler than her, then she's gonna strike with you, and she's gonna piece you up. So she's on a good run right now as a dog too. I think she's cashed 3 straight.
Yeah.
As a dog, kind of like Davy Grant did it for us a while back. But
Oh. I guess we lost him.
Lost him.
Are you there, Ozzy?
Take was gonna be too fire. Yeah, can you hear me? So I'll pick up the slack. Oh,
he's back.
you tell me.
Hold on one sec. Yeah, you want to finish up? Sorry.
Yeah, so where was I at? So yeah, she's like I said, she's an easy fighter to cap. She's cashed 3 straight for me. She like I said, she'll take you down if you're a better striker. She'll put you on the mat or she'll work the clinch. She has really good fight IQ. I don't think anyone's been touching on that. Her fight IQ, ever since going to American Top Team, has been, she's one of the smarter fighters in the division. But if I'm gonna bet it, probably by decision, just because she's not gonna finish Aldana. Yeah, I don't like Yana double. Her striking numbers. She doubles people up, and Aldana kind of just, goes shot for shot and kind of wears her heart on her sleeve. I don't really like that. So I like Yana by decision. No official bet for me, but I've definitely looked at it. So the fight IQ alone is worth the underdog price.
Agreed.
If she's getting pieced up, she's gonna do something about it. She's not gonna sit there at range and get pieced up. She's gonna put her up against the cage. She's gonna work. Her head position is phenomenal.
Yep.
She has
very good.
She throws knees in the clinch. She throws body. She throws head. This girl's not gonna go out there and get 30-27 at range. She's gonna make it dirty if she starts getting pieced up.
She's strong in the clinch.
And like you said, the clinch positioning is great, and the outside trip is nasty.
Yep.
She's got a nasty trip.
Ozzy, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's the line is being super close makes sense to me, but I'd agree that Aldana looks so bad in her against Holly Holm that you just I can't make her a favorite against girls that have different ways to approach a fight. And Yana, like you guys said, has always been pretty reliable. She that last fight that she had against Katla Vieira, she got out of that. I think what was it, she was in bottom mount, back mount.
Yeah, bottom mount.
I don't remember what happened. Yeah. Bottom mount. She got out and she knew that hey, I need to beat this bitch's ass. She went hard. She went hard for those 12 seconds and won the fight, which is crazy. But she like you guys said, she's able to mix up. I think Aldana has pretty good hands, but she's such a generic, boxer that, you start throwing kicks at her and it just confuses her. It's she's bewildered. She's whoa, the Holly Holm. She's moving and she's throwing a kick at the same time or right after each other. This is crazy. She was really perplexed in that fight. And Yana, I don't know if she has what kind of martial arts background she has, but she has pretty good karate style kicks that I think she should be able to land even if her hands are terrible. So even if Aldana is maybe outlanding her with her hands, she'll throw the kicks, she'll get a clinch, she'll make the fight close. And I don't think Aldana is reliable. Aldana, she's liable to go for a submission, on a takedown attempt, or try to do some jiu-jitsu where Yana is looking for top position so she could throw ground and pound. So I trust Yana way more, and yeah, if she's an underdog, I think she's plus 110 now, plus 107. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing that fight that well. Plus 102 right now. So yeah, I think Yana here. She's more reliable. It's probably going to be by decision. I don't really see a path for her to finish Aldana, but Aldana's just a frustrating fighter. You would think hey, look, there's a girl that knows how to throw punches. Maybe she'll do good, but she doesn't do good. So
great. Cool. All right, so we move on. We got Tai Tuivasa versus Greg Hardy. Ozzy, you want to start this one off?
Main event. Sure, yeah. So you got Greg Hardy, who, that last fight against Tybura, I was all over Tybura. I'm like, no man, no way. Like, first guy that with actual skills, should be able to outlast Greg Hardy, and that's what ended up happening. But you saw Greg Hardy's a scary dude to fight because I don't know like where his mind is in it, but
He's
it
a
looks to
sociopath.
me, yeah, but it looks to me like he's not scared to get hurt. Like he's not scared to
No.
get punched. Like he's tough enough to take it and stuff like that. It's just like how bad does he want to win and like try really hard? Now Tai Tuivasa, I mean, like the style of Tai Tuivasa comes with. Like he's got some power and stuff. He throws his punches, in somewhat good angles where you're like, all right, he's a heavyweight dude that he has like some skills. Like I guess he's like a right-handed form of Tafa. But I heard some interviews with Tuivasa saying that like training wherever he's at in Australia or New Zealand, wherever he lives at, it's not very good. I think Greg Hardy should be able to stay safe enough to frustrate Tuivasa to where Tuivasa will give him opportunities to attack him. Like I don't think Greg Hardy's like raring to be like, all right, like I need to finish this guy like right away. I think Greg Hardy knows that if he keeps winning, no matter what, he's gonna be on pay-per-view main cards and stuff like that. So he's like, man, like I'm just trying to win the fight. So I don't think he's gonna come out rabies and give like Tuivasa like a brawl right away. So that being said, like to bet Tuivasa, I have to trust that he's gonna have a certain approach to the fight, and I don't trust him at all. So I actually think at plus 115, I'm kind of interested in Greg Hardy here.
Yep. I agree 100%. I have 2 units on Hardy at plus 118. I don't really get this line at all. I think the line should be flipped. I don't really, Hardy, he's got a decent process. He's an athletic freak. Like you said, he doesn't mind getting into brawls. I was really impressed with him versus Volkov. And he's the better fighter in general, in my opinion. He's got strong leg kicks. He's a good boxer. He's got decent head movement. He's got power in his hands. And he's very, very athletic. I do think that the cardio concerns are a little bit of an issue, but Tai, he's got horrible cardio too. And I think it's even worse. If Tai's got about like 1 round in him, and then where he looks decent, where you're like, okay, Tai can box a little bit. He's got decent leg kicks. He can cage push up against the fence. But then after he starts gassing, his entire defense goes down. Like everything goes down. He gets hit. He looks slow and labored. He stops moving his head. He's labored takedown attempts with the cage push. I think Hardy is like you said, gonna be able to frustrate him here. Someone was trying to tell me the other day that Tai has good boxing. Tai has absolutely terrible boxing. There's no process to it at all. I guess Goodwin versus Struve, like whatever. Struve is terrible. What do you do for Struve? You take away his length, you walk him down, you throw bombs. That's pretty much been the game plan to beat Struve. And then, his last fight versus Hunsaker, that guy had no business being in the UFC. I don't even think the UFC is giving him a second fight. That was pretty much easy money for Tai there. Easy money for Tai. I think, Hardy at least has a process of where he has decent skills here, where Tai, in my opinion, he's just all over the place. I've always thought he is notoriously one of the like lower level heavyweights. He made Ivanov look like a Golden Gloves world champion boxer. Like Ivanov was jabbing his face off easily, and so yeah, I don't know. I think the UFC loves Tai. I think the fans love Tai. That's why they were giving him these 2 easy fights, but I think he's outmatched here, and I don't really understand why Hardy's an underdog here. So yeah, easy 2 unit bet for me at plus 118. What do you think, Marathon?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ty's the side, but am I rushing to the window to bet it? No, I think he's going to come out, probably pump leg kicks, probably be fresher later. I mean, if they're both gassed around 3, I probably trust Ty more than Greg. in a fight where both guys are tired to win that third round. But I feel like Ty's a better version of Jorgen De Castro, and De Castro was out there. He was doing pretty good against Hardy. I had a ticket on Hardy in that fight, and up until broke his foot, he was looking good, and I was pretty frustrated with that ticket. But yeah, I think Ty. I don't know, man. He got a couple gimmies, like you said, but the only reason why I'm not wanting to really play him is because I think there's a blueprint on what kind of fighter will gas out Greg Hardy, and I don't think Tai Tuivasa is that kind of a fighter to gas him out. There's a certain kind of style or pace you have to put on him in order to get that bummy guy who gives up in fights. Does Tai have the style to gas out Greg Hardy? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
So
it's also kind of hard to put Hardy on the back foot, and I don't think Ty is like going to be throwing anything at Hardy that's going to make him get dissuaded or anything like inside the pocket at all.
Yeah.
And
like
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
But like I said, like I just think he's a better version of Jorgen De Castro, and Tai Tuivasa is probably not breaking his foot on the calf of Greg Hardy. You know what I mean? Like he's a pretty burly guy. He's thicker. He and round 3, I would trust Tuivasa more to dig deep and get that win rather than Greg Hardy. We've seen signs of Greg Hardy quitting when times get tough, but does Tuivasa have the style to make times tough? That's
Yeah,
that's
no,
where
I
I'm
agree.
at.
And
That's where I'm at. So
I think that when Ty throws his leg kicks, Hardy's gonna throw him right back. I like that Hardy's stayed at American Top Team. I'm pretty sure he's still there now. They're gonna have a good game plan for him. Mike Brown and all of them are there. And I think he's enough to where he has a process to where he can level his game and be pretty successful in the UFC. Like I really think Hardy has the tools to win a lot of fights here. Where I think Ty is like he's only 28. He could be making improvements, but I don't really see it at all. And I think this is a pretty big step up from the last 2 guys he's fought. So we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be an interesting fight. Granted, I will say this: I will eat my 2-unit bet to watch Hardy get sent to the Shadow Realm. I fucking hate the guy. I think he's a complete sociopath. But we don't bet based off of emotion. We bet based off of logic and what we see in the fights. So
you tell him, Quinn. That's right.
all the homies hate Greg Hardy, man. Come on.
Yes. All right, we got co-main event. We got Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Thompson. Ozzy, let's go with you.
All right, so this is the real main event of the night. You got 2 guys here who, great UFC records. Wonder Boy career resurgence here really late in his career here. Really, really interesting fight. I went into it thinking like, man, this should be easy work for Wonder Boy. I do have like a quarter unit on him, like minus 140, I believe. I think is the price on it. Parlayed with a few things, but I think in this fight, his approach, what he's gonna do. He's gonna come out maybe a little bit passive, and let see where Burns is at and what Burns' approach is, which is what kind of Wonder Boy style is all about. Forming around what the opponent's giving you. But I do feel that there's some paths for Burns to have some success here. Obviously now here, Wonder Boy is in the big cage, which was not the case in the Neal fight. But the more I think about this fight, and the more I'm kind of considering, like I've always been high on Burns. I thought that he had a chance against Usman, and you saw some of the hands that he was landing. And just sometimes when I'm looking at these Wonder Boy fights, like I love his approach and some of the stuff that he does. But when he does go in there to score, he's there to be hit on on the counters, and as he's like kind of like trying to actually land those punches in the pocket, because at the end of the day he can throw the kicks into the body and the legs and all the things like that. But I think in a matchup against a guy like Burns, which is similar to the Luque fight, where you have a kickboxer where which different from Neal, who didn't throw any kicks at all, I don't think. You're coming into a little bit closer range to land some of those punches. Because you're taking a position, as opposed to when he was fighting Neal, I felt he was darting in a lot more, in and out. And I think in this fight, Burns will be able to maybe, make Wonderboy fight him in the pocket a little bit more. And I know that his jiu-jitsu game has been, really, really, really tested, especially in the last like 6 months or so when he was getting ready for that Usman fight, that Rafael Lovato match. Like I know guys that were visiting Florida and visiting Miami, consistently, and they were saying like, at that Fight Sports gym where, Cyborg, Wagner Hosha, Gilbert Burns are like, man, Gilbert Burns is in there like an animal every day looking
Yep.
amazing. So, I think it's a fight. It's a tantalizing fight. I really think Burns can, if he's able to get a feel of the timing, because Wonder Boy's gonna land. It's just how often does he land on Burns? How clean does he land on Burns on those offbeat moments that he's, I think, the best at? And can Burns, save enough energy for the blitzes that he's gonna need? If he does want to take this fight to the ground and get Wonder Boy down, because as soon as he puts that guy on the ground, Wonder Boy is a slinky, dude. He's gonna be looking to get right back up. So it's going to take, tremendous energy, I think, for Burns to get takedowns and, offense on the ground. So, I'd have to side with Wonder Boy. I think there's probably even maybe still some value on him. But, if you get north of minus 160, I think, it's probably, all that, the exposure you'd want to get there. But I would not be surprised to see Gilbert Burns, catching Wonder Boy with some of these punches. Like this guy's hands are clean down sometimes in the pocket where he's like doing this bounce in and out and he's hiding behind his shoulder and stuff. Very easy to get caught with a big punch there.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, so I don't have a bet yet. I'm currently looking at Wonder Boy KO decision. I think it's at minus 145. Yeah, you touched on a lot of good points. I think Burns is pretty live early. Like he's very, very explosive. He's very, very powerful. He has dynamite in his hands. He's probably one of the best grapplers in the division. I love Burns' jiu-jitsu game. I've been watching him for years on the jiu-jitsu circuit. He's just a wizard on the mat, man. And like there's levels to the jiu-jitsu game. And Burns, he's one of the higher level black belts in the UFC. Like he goes up against some of the best jiu-jitsu competitors in the world. So you have to think that if he's going to get that double leg on Thompson, and he gets him down, I think he's pretty live to pass guard and lay on him and catch a sub. Stay back maybe. And we haven't seen Wonder Boy's grappling being tested in a long time. So, I expect him to make improvements there. But we don't really know what we can't see. But with that being said, I don't think that Burns' style on the feet is good for is good for him against Wonder Boy. Like Till, we had talked on the Discord, Ozzy, all of us, Till and I don't remember the other dude that he fought. They played the at distance range game with Thompson. So Thompson had to go first. Burns isn't going to do that. He's going to walk forward. He's going to let Thompson counter. He's going to be throwing bombs, kind of like what Luque was doing. So I think on the feet, like in terms of like the matchup and what Burns is going to do, he's going to get caught. He's going to get hit. Wonder Boy's too elusive. His footwork is way too good. And, as good as Burns is on the mat, like Wonder Boy's just as good on the feet here. And I think he's going to frustrate Burns. And I think Burns is going to gas going for these telegraph takedowns. Burns has had some cardio issues in the past. Plus, like not many people are talking about this, but like when was that Usman fight? Like 4 months ago? And he's already coming back after getting brutally KO'd. And he couldn't even, he was having trouble with Usman's jab and his footwork in that fight. Like that's just, for me with this matchup, like that's just not really a good sign. So I'm going to think about it a little bit more, but I think I'm going to be playing that Wonder Boy KO decision line. I just know that I'm going to be sweating if Burns lands a takedown here because I do think he is that good on the mat. What do you think, Marathon?
Yeah, I got 3 units on Wonder Boy minus 150.
I can barely hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I have 3 units on Wonderboy minus 150. Um, I just think how much trouble Gilbert had with Usman on the feet. I don't think that that's gonna look very good here. And like you said, he's gonna bring the fight to Wonderboy, which is the exact wrong way to fight him. He's gonna walk right into fire. He's gonna be one step behind, just like Luque was. And I think he's gonna get lit up on the feet. And he is legit on the mat. That's what everyone keeps bringing up, which we all know. He's probably one of the better black belts in the UFC. But when you have the jiu-jitsu, but you don't have the wrestling to combine with it, your jiu-jitsu really isn't as effective as you would think. So Wonderboy's really hard to take down, and it's also really hard to look good against him. You know, he's probably gonna make you look like shit. I mean, the decision prop plus 150, plus 160, I think it's around there, is probably another good way to bet him if you don't want to pay the minus 150. But this is a terrible matchup for Gilbert. He's gonna be walking down right into how many traps Wonderboy's gonna be setting on this guy, man. It's gonna be trap city, man. Like he's gonna be setting up the head kick. He's gonna be setting up that left check. He's gonna be setting all that up. So I don't think he'll finish him. But like you said, he just got finished in a title fight. So when you get finished in a title fight, we talked about this with Maya. What are you waking up for at 6 in the morning to go run that fucking 10 miles? How do you feeling going all the way back to fucking Sanford to go train for 3-4 hours? What's your motivation? Because we've seen these guys get on these highs and then they lose that title shot and they're never the same. So I'm not I'm not thinking Gilbert really. I think he gets probably 30-27 here. He's gonna be live probably in the first round for something crazy, but um, I got Wonderboy here all day, man.
Cool. All in agreement. Okay, the big event here. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. So for me, this is an interesting fight. I favor Poirier in general. Like I'm picking Poirier to win, but I think that the props for Conor are insane. You can get Conor KO round 1 plus 500, and you can get Conor KO round 2 plus 700. So if he bonks um, just the first round, like he's already done the first fight, and he's even admitted he had me hurt in the second fight. You're getting 5-1 on in my opinion his win condition for the first 2 rounds, or you're getting 7-1. Like that's just an insane number to me. I am playing those. I'm gonna stick like a quarter unit on both of those, maybe half a unit on both of those. And I think that you can make pretty easy money on this fight. Our live betting Dustin after round 1. Like Conor, I think he is he's a lock to win the first round in my opinion. He's the better technical striker. He's the better kickboxer. He's just the better athlete in my opinion. Skill wise, he was pretty much landing on at will on Poirier in the first round until Poirier, I believe it was the left counter that he landed that had started hurting Conor. But if this fight gets extended, I don't trust Conor to be there in the championship rounds. He's when he gets punched in the face, when he doesn't live up to his win condition, he quits, and that's just, in my opinion, that's not something that I enjoy seeing. And we know Dustin, man. He's notorious. Like he's a grinder. He's a fighter, man. He'll be in there all 5 rounds. He can take damage. He has insane recoverability. He gets hurt quite often, but he recovers very, very well. And he had said in an interview this week, you can't teach heart, and he has that heart. And we've seen McGregor. He got rocked by Diaz, and then he turned his back, and Diaz put in that easy sub. He did well first Khabib, but he ended up losing that whizzer, got taken down, and then tapped. You could see in his eyes as soon as Dustin was landing those leg kicks, you could just tell Conor was like, "Man, I'm fucked." And that's just against someone like Dustin, when the fight gets extended, that's not a good look, because he's going to stay there. He's going to keep pumping volume.
Bueno.
He's going to walk him down. So yeah, I think playing the Conor KO prop round 1, round 2, I think that's a solid solid spot, and I'm going to look to live bet Dustin after round 1. Ozzy, what you got here?
No, man, yeah, 100%. Like, I'm kind of when looking back at the first fight, I genuinely feel that you know Poirier actually was surprised at himself when he started having success. Like,
Yeah.
when he started landing some shots on McGregor and he was able to break his frame, he was like, oh shit, okay, like what I'm doing is actually working. Because those calf kicks were brutal. I think McGregor ate maybe like 16, 17 of them or something, something close to there. But, I do believe one, McGregor's crazy. So I think he was definitely like actually training to fight Pacquiao, at some
Yeah.
point around the same time that he had, like, I think that was genuinely a thing. And he was like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna fuck Dustin up, and then I'm just gonna fight Pacquiao like when Spence is fighting Pacquiao now. I think that was like actually legitimately like the two plans that they were looking to do. So, I think McGregor will come out, a little bit more, with some more adjustments to not get kicked as much. And I think Dustin will just not look to throw as many calf kicks early on. But and at range, like I just can't resist. Like when I'm watching these guys, like I just like I think that McGregor is does a lot of things well that land on Poirier. Like Poirier just his head movement, when he gets into the flow of the fight is good. Like he can move around with the punches, but early on, I think McGregor is just so accurate that he's able to minimize that. And Poirier really needed those leg kicks to slow Conor down so he can move a bit. So I definitely I think that, like, I agree with you guys that you were hinting at that. Someone's going to finish here, either Dustin's going to get rocked at some point and Connor's going to finish him. Or, if, Poirier is going to pour it on him at some point, just like those blitzes that he lands where he's, jabbing you like he's like you're a fucking speed bag and he's hitting you with that same side, hand, like he knocked out his boy in sparring the other day. But, he's just going to be all over him at some point. He's going to finish him. Or Connor's going to get him at a certain point. It's a very, I think, easy fight to see, one of those fashions. But I think, I don't think that Poirier is going to be landing easy takedowns. I think McGregor's just going to be way more present early on. I think he's going to look like he did in the Nate fights, or like maybe in that second Nate fight where, he was doing so well until like he wasn't. So I just think he's going to be turned on. He's not going to be getting caught with leg kicks and takedowns and stuff like that. And, I think he finishes Dustin in round 1 or Dustin murders him later on. So I kind of like betting on McGregor, though, here at, you're getting plus money here, potentially. I'm not going to get involved. But, I think for McGregor fights where you could find yourself laying, like, awful bets, like, plus 160 against Khabib, him here plus 110, plus 115 against Poirier. I think this is the worst bets that you can make if you're a Conor fan. But yeah, I'd rather just bet him to knock him out in the first or second round. But it's a fight business. You never know.
What do you got, Marathon?
Yeah, so I don't think the fight's very complex from a betting perspective. It's either Conor early or after 7 minutes it's going to be all Poirier.
Yep.
And I'm all on Poirier. I do have that parlay with O'Malley inside the distance for 3 units, which was with the fight doesn't go to decision in here because someone's getting finished in this fight, whether it's McGregor late or Poirier early. But I'm on Poirier 2 units plus 155 inside the distance. So I just
That's a good number on the inside distance.
Yeah, I just don't I don't believe anything that's coming out of Connor's mouth anymore.
Yep.
I think that he's a total he did a lot for the sport, and at one point, shit he said, it came off the tongue good and we all believed it, but now it just seems so premeditated and like he's writing it down, like I think we probably saw the real McGregor the last fight at that presser. I think the dude's probably pretty humble guy now, considering how well he's done and how much money he's made, which is why I like Dustin. Dustin took this money fight over a title fight. He's hungry. He wants the money. He wants to beat McGregor. And McGregor, when times get tough, he just sold Proper 12 for $650 million. Poirier is going to be in there. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he has that lion heart. I can't say the same thing for Conor McGregor. And
Agree 100%.
like I said, just Conor used to give us a different feeling in our chest, man. When he used to talk, he used to do something completely different, and now it's just like, dude, this doesn't even like sound good coming out of your mouth. Like it feels like he's a fake. Now he's saying first one's that shoots a crotch sniffer. Like, you're a bitch. That just shows so much insecurity to me, because you're a good wrestler. So why are you even saying that? If someone wants to wrestle you, whatever. He did fine in the wrestling exchanges and in the clinch. So, that reeks insecurity to me. And then him saying, "Oh, I only have one loss on my record because you only lose if you get knocked out." Like it just feels like normally I'd say CTE, but in his case, I just feel like he's
denial.
He's just like. He's just kind of like a shell of himself now. He's trying to be McGregor when now he's just a successful businessman. You're not Conor McGregor 145er coming out, in the karate stance, and that's just not you anymore, So I'm all on Poirier here too, just a couple units, and the fight doesn't go to decision. If he goes out there and gets knocked out, it's a little bit of insurance for that 2-unit bet. So yeah, man, I'm all over Poirier here, and it sucks because it makes me look like a fool because I was on McGregor by KO last time around they fought. So I was kind of battling with myself, like it make me look terrible if I come out and bet Poirier. But after the presser, man, and just the ways these two are talking, it's just so clear to me that you can't bet Conor unless you're betting him round one. Like I don't want any parts of his money line, So. Yeah, man, it's gonna be it's gonna be a good fight, and I just if McGregor, if your head's not in it and you don't really want it, you don't need to be in that cage, and I don't see why he's fighting anymore. So the fact that Poirier took the money fight over the title fight, he doesn't give a fuck about the gold. He wants the money. So let's do it, man.
What a crazy trajectory like for Conor, man. Like when he fought Mendez, I think that's one of my favorite fights of all time. I've watched that fight like dozens of times. He looked absolutely fantastic.
I met David Blaine that day.
Class. That's sick. World class. Like just absolutely amazing performance. And then just to see him drop off like this, like it just sucks. Like like he fucked him up. He needs to win this fight for his legacy. Like I know he has all the money in the world, but I think he's fighting now to get the title. Because when he does knock out Oliveira, he's gonna obviously call Khabib a rat and try to call him out. Like it's a whole process of what he's gonna do. But man, he's got to win this fight, or I don't think we're gonna see him back. So
yeah, he if he doesn't win this fight, the McGregor money fights, they start to become an anomaly. I don't think they're gonna be as common. And if you want to go box some more people, go ahead. But
Cowboy.
DP's good for this. DP's good for the sport too, man. Everyone's saying we need Conor,
DP.
but DP's good for the sport too. And
I love DP.
Yeah, DP's good for the sport too, man. So,
for sure, 100p.
Cool, guys. Well, I gotta head to bed. I gotta wake up for work. Thank you guys both for jumping on with me. Now that I have this StreamYard uploaded, I think I'm gonna start doing a breakdown every. I don't know. I'll pick a day. We're gonna start doing it at cards. So, and I'll be bringing different people on and stuff. Blah blah blah. So yeah. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Quinn. You can find me on Twitter, Orthodox1993. Ozzy, you can find Ozzy on Twitter at Ozzy_MMA. And then you can find Marathon on Twitter at Marathon MMA. Taylor Fade, let's catch some bets, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Out. Later.